Good morning. I apologize for our tardiness. That's my fault. And for some reason, my camera is upside down. So I'm going to actually turn off my camera so it's not distracting to anyone. Um, but we will go ahead and start. Okay, so my name is David Steinberg, hearing officer for San Francisco Public Works. Nathan Rodas is the clerk for this hearing. This hearing is being recorded via Zoom and will be available afterward through a link on the San Francisco Public Works website, sfpublicworks.org. As this is a virtual hearing, there's no sign-in sheet. So if you'd like to receive information about the results of this hearing, please send an email to the email address listed on the hearing notice. This public hearing is being held to consider one item, and that is, whoa, sorry, went away. That is order number 208872. A request from the San Francisco Arts Commission for a major encroachment permit to install and maintain 10 art sculptures along the furnishing zone of the sidewalk at two locations, 7 sculptures at Judas Street and 43rd Avenue intersection, and 3 sculptures at the lower Great Highway and Judas Street intersection. So my job as a hearing officer is to gather the facts for the hearing item, listen to your testimonies, and help our Director of Public Works make determinations. I will not be making any decisions today. Instead, I will forward the findings from this hearing and make my recommendations to the Director. The Director will make the final determinations. When the Director's determinations are made, the department will notify you of them if you've provided contact information. The hearing will proceed as follows for the case. First, I will ask Public Works staff to speak and present the case. Then I will allow the property owner or appellant or applicant to speak, then any member of the public or witness who wants to speak, then the department, if the department would like to address any comments, and finally, the property owner or appellant or applicant again, if the person has any rebuttals. Each speaker will have up to 3 minutes to speak. The clerk will monitor the time for all speakers and will indicate when the speaker has 30 seconds left. If you are a party to the proceeding, I will call on you to speak. If you would like to use visual materials in your presentation, please let me know before you speak. You will then have the standard 3 minutes to provide your comments. If you are a member of the public or witness who wants to speak, wait for me to call for public comment. Then use Zoom's raise your hand feature if you're on a computer to put yourself in the queue to speak. If you are dialing in on your phone, dial *9 to indicate you're raising your hand. When it is your turn to speak, I will recognize you. If on your phone and you're muted, press *6 to unmute yourself. If you would like to use visual materials in your presentation, please let me know before you speak. You will then have the standard 3 minutes to provide your comments. Comments and questions should be addressed to me and not to the department or the applicant. If you cannot finish your comments within the allotted time, you may submit written testimony to me at the end of this hearing. If I feel that a question is warranted, I will ask the question. After all comments are completed, I will close the item. We'll now begin the hearing. At this time, we will open the hearing to public comments. Members of the public may comment on matters that are within the department's jurisdiction, but not on today's agenda. Are there any public comments at this time?
I don't see any hands raised, so
Nathan, do we have any hands?
I don't see any hands raised, so we can have the department make their presentation.
Okay, in that case, we will proceed with the first item. The first item on the agenda, as I said, is order number 208872. May I have Public Works make its presentation?
Hello, thank you. Let me share my screen. Let's see. All right, so I'm presenting on PW order 208872. This is a request from the San Francisco Arts Commission to install 10 art sculptures along Judah Street, 3 of which will be on the Great Highway, boxed in red on the left, and 7 will be at 43rd Avenue and Judah Street, boxed on the right side, more center of the page. There's a visual of the 43rd and Judah Street. This is a visual of the Great Highway and Judah Street location. Again, 7 will be on the 43rd along the furnishing zone, spaced apart, kind of shown here, with a 6'5" pedestrian throughway zone. And 3 will be placed in front of the Great Highway location, spaced out, kind of shown here, with a 5'6" clearance. Since this
I'm sorry, Shannon, let me interrupt you. Right now, we're just seeing the title page. We're not seeing any other visuals.
I see. Let me reshare then. Is this better?
Still saying the title page. There we go. Now we have an major encroachment letter.
So major encroachment letter from the San Francisco Arts Commission received in 2022. Here's a map of the 2 sites, one at 43rd and Judah Street, and one at Great Highway and Judah Street. Visuals of the 43rd is going to be installed along the furnishing zone along the curb. Visual of the Great Highway location. Plans of the sculptures at 43rd Street. 7 again will be at this location, spaced along the curb line with a 6'5" pedestrian throughway. And 3 will be installed at the Great Highway. I know this says 43rd, it should be saying Great Highway. And since this is an administrative major encroachment from a sibling department, it did not need to go through the general plan referral process. And when it was referred to the task meeting, Transportation Advisory Staff Committee, an internal meeting with SFMTA, no objections were raised. And as part of our major encroachment process, a notification was sent out to properties within 300 feet of the encroachment location. No objections were raised during this time. Some people did reach out to me asking for more questions, and hopefully their questions could be answered if they are in attendance of this meeting today. But that kind of just ends my presentation.
Okay, thank you. And now I'll call on, is the applicant or appellant here to make a presentation? Can you indicate, raise your hand or okay. M. Davies, all right, we have, you will have 3 minutes to make a presentation.
Great. If you can hear me, I also have a visual that I'll maybe add at the end of it.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hi, good morning, everyone. Shannon, thank you for the great summary there. I'll just add to it with a brief introduction to the project being reviewed today. The San Francisco Arts Commission is a city agency, and
Your mute just went back on.
sorry, I was kicked out of the meeting for some reason. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We'll
Oh,
restart
great,
the
okay.
clock. So you have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
All right, perfect. So the San Francisco Arts Commission is a city agency, and we've partnered with merchants and neighbors of the Outer Judah corridor to commission a series of 10 sculptures by San Francisco artist Jesse Schlesinger. The artworks will be made of cast concrete, stone, and bronze, and will range in height from 1.5 feet to 6.5 feet tall by 1.5 feet to 4.5 feet wide at their base. The sculpture forms highlight the unique nature of the western edge of the city, where the urban grid meets the open wildness of the ocean, and the materials are intended to weather over time like objects found and collected on the beach. 7 sculptures will be located near the northwest corner of Judah Street at 43rd Avenue, and 3 sculptures will be located in front of the historic restroom building on the lower Great Highway at Judah Street. The artworks will all be positioned on the sidewalk within the sidewalk furnishing zone designated for street trees and landscaping for accessibility requirements. The sculptures have been carefully engineered and will be installed via epoxy rods embedded in the sidewalk to prevent overturning. Each work will be treated with graffiti coating that will allow for abatement if vandalized. The Artist and Arts Commission have worked diligently to ensure that the artwork will be an integrated asset to the Judah streetscape and the community. And upon issuance of the major encroachment permit, we're looking forward to installing the artworks in the spring of 2024. And then I just have a couple of visuals if I have time, and I can share my screen here. I'd like to pull up. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Just again, Shannon, thanks again for encapsulating the project in your summary. This is just a brief rendering here of the Judah and 43rd location. And moving forward, the locations on the sidewalk in the furnishing zone. This is just an overview of all 10 objects, their height and width, their overall dimensions, and their forms. This is a material sample in Jesse's studio showing a bronze casting of a found object, stone, and the cast concrete plinth that will be seen throughout all objects. Again, just some source materials, some tests showing the kind of material and color palette that will be used throughout. This is representative of one of the final objects that we'll see hopefully located along the two locations on Judah and 43rd. And this is just a sample showing the aggregate of the cast concrete bases that will allow for an even graffiti coating and ease of graffiti removal in the event that they are tagged or vandalized in the future. So we have a maintenance plan in place and materials that will ease in graffiti abatement over time. So those are just the visuals that I wanted to add. I don't know if this is the time to open the hearing up to questions or if I should just be on standby for that. This is my first time.
If you're done with your presentation, then we'll end it there, and then we'll take any public comments, and then again, we'll have some final comments if needed.
Perfect. Then that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, can you give us your name and affiliation again?
Sure. Marcus Davies. I'm a project manager with the Public Art and Program and Civic Art Collection, San Francisco Arts Commission.
All right. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you.
All right. At this time, we'll take comments from members of the public who are not party to this application. So are there any members of the public who wish to speak? I see one person, Erica Zweig. We'll start there, and if anyone else is interested, we'll go after that. So Erica, you have 3 minutes to comment, so go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I live right there, 43rd and Judah, right next to the church on Judah. And the only notice I have seen is what came in my mail, by the way, and I tried to, and there was no photos, no description. And then I tried to get online and find it and couldn't find it. And I called and I just got the general mailbox for Public Works. So first of all, I'm happy. I always am happy about art. But when I'd love to see it a little bit better and what it looks like there. And I went on the photo that you showed, Mr. Davies, showed 5 sculptures, and I think you said 7. I'd like to see how far it goes. There's the church. Will it start right at the corner of 43rd and Judah? And then does it go, how far does it go into Judah between 43rd and 44th? If there's 7 there. There's a community garden there. And there's very precious parking. I'm assuming it won't disturb the parking. Street cleaning happens. I don't know if that makes, how close it will be to the street. And anyway, I'd love to see it a little bit more. It looks very nice. And we have a mural there. It's sort of an art corner. And also, I guess I was surprised when I got the notice that I was never contacted, live right here on the building. But how it was chosen, although I like it, I have no problem with it at all. But just the process seems Nobody ever knocked on my door other than this notice that I got about this Zoom meeting. I hadn't heard about it. And that's it. And thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me ask, are there any other members of the public who wish to speak at this time? You can raise your hand in the app or
Yeah, Max
otherwise.
next.
Okay, Max, we have someone named Max.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, if you'd like to give your full name, you can. You don't have to if you don't want. Otherwise, you have 3 minutes to go ahead.
Sure, thank you. My name is Max Zeff. I represent the ownership of the property that owns 1301 La Playa, right next to the Great Highway and Judah location. We also own the mini park at Judah and Great Highway, which is really right next to across the street from this location. We just wanted to mention our absolute support for this. We think it's a great idea to add some artwork and some additional culture to this area. This is a really exciting neighborhood, and we're really excited about this addition. We love the design and appreciate all the work here. So full support from us.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, is there anyone else who would like to speak on this matter? Please indicate by raising your hand or otherwise letting us know. Is there anyone?
I don't see anybody else's hand raised.
Okay, in that case, let me now go back to the department. Shannon, if you'd like to address any comments, in particular, if maybe you can pull up that diagram again that shows the placement of the artwork, because I know the Eric had a question about where they were going to be.
Yeah, let me pull that up. And you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a Great Highway. So 43rd, bit hard to tell, but it'll be installed between the 2 street lights poles, I believe. So between this street light all the way to the next street light, and it will be in the sidewalk, so it won't be obstructing any parking. It'll be spaced out so doors can open, and it'll be flush with or more towards the curb so that the path of travel is clear.
Okay. And just let me ask, is that it looks like there's a bike rack there, is that
Yeah,
being maintained, or is that
that was taken into account. You can see that existing bike rack on the top diagram is
Got
there.
it.
So the 7 sculptures are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, shaded in darker colors. Yeah.
And then the 3 are on the Great Highway?
3 Great Highway is closer to the left street light. 1, 2, 3. Let me get that visual. So this on the left, the street light between the street light and the trees. Again, not obstructing any parking. There'll be space for doors to open and enough space for pedestrians to move around.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Do you have any other comments or rebuttals based on what you heard?
I don't have any visuals of the actual materials though, so maybe someone else like Marcus can kind of chime in on that.
And Marcus, you have time if you want to address any of the comments, or if you have any other rebuttals.
Sure, I'm happy to hear the general support, and I really appreciate that. We have tried our best to engage in a prolonged outreach to the community. That said, our resources are limited, and I'm sorry if we haven't reached every single member out there, but this permitting process has allowed us to hopefully to augment our efforts. through the mailers and the posting. Again, apologies for the rendering being not representative of the end count. That's an early rendering, but it's the best one we have. Renderings are expensive, and we're trying to concentrate all of our project funds on actual hard costs and artwork. Rather than continuing iterations of renderings throughout the project. So what Shannon was showing in terms of the plan view, that is correct in terms of the object count at both locations and their placement within the larger streetscape, the furnishing zone, the clearance to curb to allow for automobile doors to be opened and closed, and general pedestrian access and circulation. As well as, deference to other street furnishings in both locations. Hopefully that addresses all the comments. Again, just it's been a great process, a lot of community support from the outset. This project goes back to 2017, early phases, and engaging the artist was done through a competitive selection process, resulting in the selection of Jesse Schlesinger as the project artist. That is standard to Arts Commission's policies and practices and the city's larger procurement guidelines and processes as well. So hopefully that addresses all the questions that I've heard this morning. And thanks for everyone's time and attention today.
Thank you, Marcus. I just have one quick question based on what Eric had said. Shannon, can you tell me what type of outreach was done before this item came to the public hearing?
Yeah, so the only outreach that is required for major encroachments is the public hearing notification that kind of allows them, whoever gets the notice, to reach out to me or show up to this Zoom call and kind of ask questions that way. There's no other real requirement to provide any plans, although it is recommended. So we'll make note for that in the future, but that's the only thing we require.
And what are the requirements of the notification in terms of, is it like just abutters, or is it a certain distance, or?
Oh, so the notification process is the public hearing notice.
Mhm.
That would be mailed to each property within 300 feet of the encroachment. And the second notification would be posting the hearing letter on poles or street trees within the same vicinity of the encroachments.
Okay, excellent. So that hopefully addresses Erica's concern. That's why she heard about it, I guess, because she is in close proximity to the project. Okay, if there are no more.
We have a few more hands raised. We have
Oh,
Jesse.
okay, I didn't see it. Yeah, so next person would like to speak? Who, can you identify yourself?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I audible? My name is Jesse Schlesinger. I am the project artist. I'm really thrilled to be making this work for the neighborhood, which I have a deep personal connection to, and many, many friends that live out there. Eric, I apologize for not knocking on your door at the, that's probably like 5 years ago now, with the support of the Merchants Association out there. I did walk the entire stretch from 43rd to the beach and introduce myself to all of the businesses, but I did not knock on private residential doors, so I apologize. I do also want to note that the work should extend down towards the community garden, and I've been in close contact with Georgia and DJ, who are some of the people that have helped sort of keep the community, help get that going, and she painted the mural and that kind of thing, and I know that they're excited, and I think it's wonderful what's happening there, and so I'm excited to be able to engage with that as well. And thank you all for your support. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Nathan, is there anyone else who's indicated they would like to speak?
We have Matt Wright. Go ahead, Matt.
Matt, you're on mute, but you have 3 minutes if you'd like to speak. Matt, if you're there, if you are on the phone, you can hit star 6 to unmute yourself, or if you are on Zoom, you need to enable your microphone or turn off mute. Matt, I can see comments, but we can't hear you, so let's see if we can get this fixed. Nathan, is there anyone else who's indicated they'd like to speak?
Nope, just Matt.
Matt, I'll give you another second. If you want to try to speak. Microphone's not working. You see you're in chat.
He said he'll just type in his
Yeah.
comments.
Okay, I'll read it just because I'm not 100% sure how the chat shows up in our record of this call. So Matt is writing, I believe at one time the project was just by the Great Highway. Could you comment on how it changed to incorporate the 43rd location? Okay, if you have anything more to add, go ahead and keep typing, but very, very much in support of it, just curious. So we'll go back, either Shannon or Marcus, if you want to address that.
Oh, I'm happy to address it. It's got a curious history over, like Jesse said, the last, say, 5+ years. It started, we were partnering with planning for a larger streetscape project at the Judah turnaround. That project ended up being canceled for various reasons, but there was so much support for the art aspect that we continued kind of independently, at which time we had, I think, Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong, but we had 3, if not possibly 4 locations identified. And Matt is correct, kind of starting, the idea was to bookend the streetscape from 43rd down to Judah, with a few additional locations in between over time, and through some careful value engineering, as well as navigation of the addition of street furnishings and changes to the artwork locations, like the addition of bicycle racks and the various commercial enterprises along the streetscape, adding street furnishings and parklets. In response to that, over time, the locations were reduced to the 2 that we're seeing today. That allowed us to maximize the art budget at either location. We think it's actually a great solution, and we're very enthusiastic about where the project ended today as we're reviewing it, and we're excited to implement. So Matt, hopefully that gives you a little bit of background. This is like I said, this project is about 5 years and running. So there's been some iterations and some changes, and your recollection is partially correct, but there were other locations that were always in the original design and initially planned for. Perfect. Thanks, Matt.
Okay, and Matt says it totally answers my question. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to offer comment on this? Again, please raise your hand if you're using Zoom, or dial *9 if you're using your phone. And we'll give it a second. And Nathan, if you can let me know if there's anyone. And Matt finally says, "So glad the project is coming soon."
No one has their hand. Everyone that's already spoken.
Okay, if there are no more comments for this item, I will now close the item and will make my recommendations to the director. And at this time, we're just going to give an opportunity if there are any public comments on the agenda from anyone who may have come in late or didn't have a chance to speak. If you've already spoken, you're not allowed to speak again. But if there's anyone else, please again indicate by raising your hand on Zoom or hitting *9 on your phone. And Nathan will let me know if there's anyone there. And it sounds like there aren't. So if there are no more public comments, I will close this hearing. Thank you all for participating. The decision, or the recommendation will go to the director soon, and her determination will be issued. And if you've signed up, you'll get notification. So thank you very much for attending. This hearing is now closed.